Good morning guys. Today I wanted to share with you how I stay fit and how I keep myself motivated to stay fit, more importantly, while living in Korea, because when you move abroad, keeping on track and staying motivated can be quite a challenge, I've personally found. So I thought it might be helpful for some of you guys if you're moving abroad or if you already live abroad on how you can oh, my voice, oh my god, on how you can keep yourself motivated when you move abroad. The gym that we use is closed on Mondays, so we're actually going to go for a run instead today, which I'm not looking forward to. I'm not gonna lie, because running is something that I've taken up recently. And so, as with anything new, you're never going to be that good at it when you first start, of course. You're always going to have that learning curve. I'm a complete noob at it, basically. So we bought these running vests when we decided to get into running. But I'm not going to lie, I feel like I look a bit of a tit in it. So usually I wear like a hoodie over the top, so I don't feel like I look quite so ridiculous. But yeah, I feel like a bit of a tit in this, I'm not gonna lie. So we made it to the Han River, which is where we usually run. As I mentioned before, I only just started running and it's been very humbling. Let me tell you that. I started running with false hopes that I wouldn't be absolutely awful at it, because I have been weight training for like 2 years. So I thought I had like a baseline level of fitness. I was wrong. My VO2 max is so bad. I'm out of breath after like 20 seconds of running. It's shocking actually. But honestly, it's kind of exciting to start a new form of exercise. I feel like going into it as a noob again. I haven't had that experience since I started weight training, and I'm excited to see how far I can improve, how far I can actually go with it. As I mentioned, we are currently at the Han River, which is the place where we usually go running because the scenery is really pretty, and honestly just the thought of getting to see that scenery in the morning is enough to motivate me to go for a run. So I do think that helps, honestly, like having a nice scenic route that you run can really help keep you motivated. Another tip I have is when you're starting any new exercise, easing yourself into it is the best way to keep you motivated, because if I started running and I tried to sprint for like 10 minutes straight, then obviously I'm probably not going to want to go running again because I'm going to nearly die. So I'm going to remember that and be like, I don't really want to go running. I run for 30 seconds and then take a walking break for 30 seconds. I think that's the best thing to do. Just go into it very slowly. That will also help motivate you to keep doing it, because you're not going to want to do it if you hate it. So that's probably enough yapping from me for now. I'm going to get stretching and then we're going to get into running. So I will catch up with you in a bit. Hi again. We just got home and I got changed. So that run was no less humbling than the first time. It is still really hard for me. We ran about 1.2 miles. I think what also helps to keep me motivated though is that I exercise with my husband, so I have a workout partner, which I do think helps keep you accountable. If you can find a workout partner, I think finding somebody to work out with can definitely help keep you accountable. Going to head to my father-in-law's because we have a little doggy called Mochi and we need to go and feed her and spend some time with her while my father-in-law is at work.
Mochi! Hi Mochi! Hello! Hi Mochi! Hello!
Favoritism.
Mochi! Mochi! Hi Mochi bear! Say hello!
This is our little Mochi bear. She turns 1 tomorrow, So we're gonna get her a little birthday cake and a little birthday hat. I celebrate tomorrow, so I'll show you guys that. I will say that my shift in my main fitness motivation and my fitness goals has helped me stay more motivated than I used to be, because now I focus more on like my overall health. I have turned 30, unfortunately, and so with getting older, I feel like it's more important now than ever to look after my overall health rather than just focus on an aesthetic goal. And so that really helps keep me motivated on days where I don't want to go and run or I don't want to go to the gym. I know that I have this big goal in mind and I have to do those things in order to achieve that goal. I found personally that that goal of health helps me more than focusing on an aesthetic goal, because the problem with an aesthetic goal being your main focus is that that can be very temporary motivation. I used to find that, like, you know, you look in the mirror every day and you don't see immediate change. Change takes a long time to actually see on your body. Even more so for yourself to see, I think, because people were pointing out my figure to me more than I was actually noticing it myself. I didn't even think I looked any different, to be honest with you. And you can quickly run out of motivation when you don't see that aesthetic goal in front of you when you look in the mirror. So I do still want to build muscle because I do like, personally, the appearance of muscle. I'd be lying if I said that I don't still think that that's an aesthetic goal that I strive for. It 100% is. However, muscle building and building muscle as a woman is incredibly important for health too. It's actually very underrated, I think, as a woman to build muscle mass. When we get older, we are much more likely to get bone density issues and become much more frail as we age compared to men. And so if you build a good amount of muscle whilst you're young, that really sets you up for like a much healthier and fitter lifestyle when you get older. That is really good motivation for me, apparently, because I will give myself credit. I am consistent most of the time. I think picking a goal that is not just aesthetic based, but more around like overall health based has been really helpful for keeping me consistent and keeping me motivated. So hopefully that will work for you guys too. And with that being said, we now have errands to run. So I'm gonna go and walk Mochi Bear with my husband, and then we're gonna get some groceries, cook dinner, and I will catch up with you after we've had dinner with my father-in-law. Morning guys, we are currently on our way to my father-in-law's place. I mentioned yesterday that we work out at a gym, obviously. The gym that we work out at is closed on Mondays. That gym is the apartment gym at my father-in-law's place, so that's why we're currently on our way there. I'm gonna weight train first, then we're gonna celebrate Mochi Bear's birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Mochi. Happy birthday to you. Yeah! 박수.
얼굴이야.
So I just got back, took a shower. I'm having one of those weeks this week where weightlifting has felt a little tougher than usual. You know, those days where you feel like the weights feel heavier than they usually do. That's been my week this week, honestly. My husband made me a decaf tea because, yeah, a cup of tea makes everything better. But with that being said, weightlifting is still the form of exercise that I enjoy the most out of all other forms of exercise that I've tried, including running. Weightlifting is the easiest form of exercise to stay consistent with for me because I enjoy it the most, which is one of my other tips, because I feel if you enjoy the form of exercise that you're doing, you're going to want to do it more, and so staying motivated and keeping yourself motivated to stay on track and stay consistent is much easier because you actually enjoy what you're doing. Makes sense, right? Also with weightlifting, it's really easy to track your progress because if you're training for progressive overload, that is motivation in itself, I find, because I have a little sheet where I can see how much weight I lifted and how many reps I did and all of that. It's nice to have an actual visual of your progress where I can see like how far I've come, and honestly just spurs me on to keep going. I remember before I started lifting weights, filling up the kettle and having the full kettle of water felt so heavy to me. Like I was straining, like my arms were shaking to like hold a kettle. Yeah, it's cool to see how strong I've become compared to then, and that really helps to keep me motivated. It helps to keep me on track. Basically what I'm saying is you should just do weightlifting. No, sorry. You shouldn't. You should pick a form of exercise that you enjoy because it is going to be the most rewarding, and also it's just going to keep you staying consistent much easier. Like you won't have to force yourself to stay consistent with it because the consistency will just come naturally. A little caveat to this that I briefly wanted to mention is that I have recently started bulking. For the first time in my life. I've only ever tried to lose weight before, so having my goal be purposefully trying to put weight on is an interesting concept. That's the word I'm looking for. It's an alien concept to me. I'll go more in depth in a future video on this and how I feel about it, but my initial thoughts so far is that although it's mentally quite challenging sometimes, I do really enjoy how strong I've been feeling in the gym. I have been able to lift heavier weights than I've ever been able to lift before, and I do think that eating a lot of calories is what's helped me get there for sure, because when I was trying to lift those weights when I was eating much less food, I just did not have the energy to lift the weights. So I do think it's helping me become stronger in the gym, which is my main goal. So I'm happy with it overall. But as I said, I will do another video in the future on this, going more in depth about it and how I feel about it. But that's all I'd like to say for now. Just wanted to share some of my thoughts with you. With that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please make sure to like the video. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because I would love to have you here. And I will hopefully see you in my next video. Bye guys!